Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Hyper Island's LinkedIn Live. As you can see, we're live in the studio. Our little kind of DIY effort here to get ourselves all together so that you can hear the stories that come out of this amazing place in Manchester and give you some access backstage to what is going on at Hyper Island master's programs. And today you'll get the opportunity to hear firsthand from a DXD student, a digital experience design master's student, Vic, and his industry research project partner, Chris, from Future Everything. And I'll allow them to introduce themselves in just one moment. So allow me to just ground myself in my presence here as well. My name's Rebecca Taylor. I am the program leader for the digital management and digital experience design MA programs here at Hyper Island Manchester with Catherine McHenry, who's also a great friend and colleague here, who will also be introducing herself just in a moment. I'm also the academic lead for MA Europe, and I have a great interest in practice-based research and how at Hyper Island it's all about the learning by doing. It's all about getting in and involved, rolling up your sleeves, being in practice and using your professional practice as an opportunity to really gain knowledge, deeper understanding for your areas of interest, and to really benefit the industry scope. You know, we've got so many different students dotted all over the world, and it's wonderful to hear the impact that they're having in every single organisation and in every industry research project setting that they might be in beyond their time at Hyper Island. So allow me, please, to invite you, if you're out there listening, welcome, welcome, welcome. Please, if you wouldn't mind putting in the comments box a name of who you are, where you're from, and why you're here. If there's anybody out there right now, it'd be wonderful to just hear you through the ether. And if not, that's okay as well, because this is going to be recorded and available forever on the internet. So you'll be able to return back to this. And any questions you might have when you view the recorded content, please, by all means, reach out to any one of us. Catherine also will share her email in the thread below this and be able to be there available to you to contact directly if you have any questions with regards to the programs or any of the content that we talk about today. So, introductions. Ivis, hello, you're back again. Oh, it's lovely to see you. Hello, hello, thank you. Listening in while she's working on her own IRP. Perfect example there. I hope you draw some inspiration today from Vic, who has survived it. He is living and breathing. He's here behind us. Who do we have here? Is that Gabe from Singapore? Hello, lovely to meet you. Thank you for tuning in. I'm going to pass the mic now across to Catherine. While you're checking in the comments box, Catherine, Vic, and Chris will do their lovely introductions.
Hello everyone out there, I'm Catherine McHenry. I'm also program leader here in Manchester on the digital management and digital experience design programs. And yeah, I'm really excited to have Victor and Chris with us today talking about Victor's industry research project and what this experience has been like for you. Yeah, really lovely to see you all out there popping into the chat. I'm going to hand over to Vic first. Hello, welcome, thank you so much for being here. For 3 days away from the deadline.
Yeah, 48 hours, I think.
Oh, wow. Tell us about you, Vic, and who you are and why you're here today.
So I'm Victor. I'm a student coming from Belgium, and I applied to Hyper for the digital experience design program.
Okay, perfect. And you're just coming to the end of your industry research project, aren't you?
Deadline yes. Friday. So the deadline is on Friday after 18 weeks of research with Future Everything.
Amazing, thank you. And hello, Chris Wright from Future Everything. Really welcome to Hyper Island today. Thank you for taking the time to be with us.
No, thank you for inviting me. So I'm Chris Wright. I'm the producer for Future Everything. And for people who don't know kind of who we are, so Future Everything, we actually celebrated our 25th birthday last year.
Same as Hyper Island.
Really? Okay, yeah. There you go. And so for about 20 to 25 years, we were a festival. and very much looking at technology and arts and the way society come together as in a kind of intersection. And we had a kind of hyper-local and also a kind of national and international profile as well. And then about 3 or 4 years ago, we refocused our energies and we stopped being a festival and became much more of a kind of year-round promoters and creators of work. And so the way we describe ourselves is we are cultural facilitators at the intersection between technology, art and society. And obviously that can go off in very different directions. We have 3 main strands: public artworks, future sessions where we work with international panels to debate and examine certain issues, and also what we call knowledge exchange and consultancy as well. So yeah, we're going through a bit of a change ourselves at the moment as well, but it's a really exciting time for us.
Lovely. Thank you very much for being here. And I think we're going to hear from a few of our viewers now on the LinkedIn Live. So back over to Becca. Just one sec.
Hello. Yes, I've just been busy having a little look at the comments stream here. Wonderful to see you. Hello. Oh, Jenny, the prod squad is here. She's just there in the ether. Bara, hello, hello. Lovely to see you. Susanna from Brazil. We've got people from all over the world here. We've got Paloma from Madrid connecting to this event to meet you all. Absolutely welcome. It's wonderful to have so much kind of presence from across there. We've got Julia. Oh, hello, Julia. Yes. You're starting the MA in Digital Experience Design in January. I'm celebrating that. I cannot wait to welcome you here into the Manchester studio. Oh, it's wonderful that you're joining us this morning. I'm sure Vic will be able to give you a really great insight into what you can expect when you walk through those doors. Amanda from Berlin, hello. Johanna from Stockholm, also starting the MA in Digital Experience Design in January. Oh my God, this is so exciting to have future students in this space with us today. I'm really, really, really grateful that you're here. Current business developer student at Hyperine in Stockholm, anonymous, but doing my internship at the moment. So I'm curious to know that this could be quite useful for you in hearing again from Vic as to how he's orchestrated this industry research project for you, which can sometimes be seen as an internship. That might help you. I've shared the Future Everything website link that Chris was talking about there if you want to go on after this and find out a little bit more information about Future Everything. Fernando from Sweden, a former Hyperine student, now a brand manager at lifelong.eco. Fantastic. Welcome back. I love the fact that alumni are able and wanting to come and reconnect. Thank you so much. And so on, Preksha. Yes, you're starting Digital Experience Design in January too. Oh, this just brings so much joy to me this morning. Thank you so much. Calling in from India there. Well done. And off we go. Okay, Stephanie. Yes, Stephanie from Zurich. Hello. We've got quite a number of people, folks. I'm going to allow you this opportunity now to really share your stories. Okay, back over to Catherine.
Okay, thank you very much, Becca. So back to you, Victor. I'd love to hear what this 12 months has been like for you joining Hyper Island in January. Tell us a bit about that, please.
Sure, yeah. It was amazing. I've had an amazing year. It was very tumultuous, starting with the pandemic, arriving in Manchester, having to go into lockdown. All the sessions were online. It was very stressful to come here to Manchester for a lot of us. But then it all came to a good end. Actually, the sessions were amazing. I had an amazing first 6 months with a lot of interesting industry partners, a lot of interesting guest speakers. And then the IRP came after these 6 months, where you have to choose an industry partner to do a research project. And it was actually all the way in the beginning in my first module, which was in collaboration with Bruntwood Works, property developers in Manchester, where we did a placemaking and urban planning project. And that is where I came into contact with Future Everything. That were actually doing a similar project at the same time as us. And I was just amazed about the project, about how design could actually be used in a different way alongside technology and society. So I was so intrigued. I immediately tried to know more about it, and if it was possible, to me as a digital experience designer to do a project, an IRP, with an organization like Future Everything.
Okay, brilliant. And then how did you come to approach Future Everything about this, and what was your topic?
So I think when you're approaching someone for an IRP, you have to keep an open mind, because I was really interested in just working with Future Everything. Of course, the space of my project was what I was attracted to, but Future Everything in general was an interesting organization. So I approached them with an open mind, saying I was really interested to their approach, how they work, how they approach design and technology in combination with this society aspect. And in the first place, asked them if they had any projects going on that would be interesting for me. So I think in these first conversations, it's really a two-way street where you talk about what my interests are, what their projects are, and how we can match somehow. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't.
Okay, thank you very much, Rick. And how was that from your side, Chris? You told us a little bit about Future Everything and about the context of that. What about this project in particular? Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so This Place of Mine began almost 2 years ago, and originally, so it was funded by the Great Place Scheme. And GMCA, which is Greater Manchester Combined Authority, they have within there, they have a subgroup which is Greater Manchester Arts Network, and the arts officers wanted to commission an organisation or cultural agency to develop a project that was looking at certain key themes about engaging with young people to see how to give them a voice to impact on future placemaking, particularly in the future of their high streets, because obviously the high street agenda was really kind of pulsating at that time. Obviously, the high street agenda shifted since COVID. So we began a project that was going to be a series of consultations with young people across 5 of the boroughs across Greater Manchester that would then generate content that would lead towards a 3-dimensional touring digital artwork around those boroughs of Greater Manchester. And that was planned to be taking place the project was going to conclude in the July period of 2020. We were about to do our first consultation workshops, and COVID hit. So obviously the impact was enormous, but for like most arts organisations, all our projects were paused, including this one. So through a series of a lot of rescoping and rescheduling, we decided we would take the entire project online in order to make it pandemic proof. And we focused on working with a group of 10 young producers across Greater Manchester and creative technologists called Studio Treble, who actually just work around the corner from here, to develop an online digital hub, which could be an immersive meeting space, an exhibition space, and sharing space for young people's artworks that were looking at the future of the high street. And that's how the project developed. So towards the end in late 2020, we did a series of online digital workshops with our young producers, also worked with a group of 5 Greater Manchester artists to mentor them and start to develop their artwork. And in February of 2021, we launched This Place of Mind Hub, which is still live now. It's thisplaceofmind.org. And on there, it's an immersive digital environment where you can investigate and be informed by young people's ideas for the future of the high street. Unfortunately, as I say, we had to cancel the physical artwork going out there simply because it was so uncertain of what we could do, and none of the local authorities could commit to that. When Victor approached us, it was all about timing. So 2 things that key were happening for us. So as an organisation, we're doing quite a lot of rescoping as an organisation and sort of rethinking who we are and how projects like This Place of Mind are starting to define us. But it was also, we were coming towards the legacy planning aspect of the project. And so when Victor approached us, we immediately thought, okay, so how can we make this work? I think it's really important for any kind of industry partners who are thinking about engaging with MA students, that I understand where the concern can be is when we bring students in, it's how we work with them, how we give them a worthwhile opportunity and experience, but also empower them to contribute something to that organisation as well. I think we have a duty, but also we have a responsibility to really kind of encourage that kind of innovation and that fresh thinking. And so when Victor came to us, and we had the first conversations, it was clear that he had a really good insight about this project. Clear that he'd done his homework and really looked at it and was coming with fresh ideas and the thoughts of it. So we took the decision to bring Victor in, but also to ensure that his contribution to the project had substance to it, so that the work he would do and the module he'd work on and the report he would develop, we would then share with our partners as well and make it part of that legacy. If Victor had approached us a month earlier or a month later, we might not have been able to do it. Just the timing was really good, but we really embraced it. I'm just so glad that we did, because Victor's brought so much to the project in terms of perspective, in terms of contributing to our legacy work that we've been doing, and now we're just really excited to see what his kind of outcomes are with this.
Fantastic. It's so wonderful to hear. How does that feel for you, hearing that kind of feedback from your industry partner?
It's always good to hear stuff like that.
Yeah, I bet.
Especially with an IRP, always working on your own, in contrast with on your own as a student, in contrast with the teamwork in the first 6 months. It's nice to hear the kind of first feedback. Yeah, definitely.
Because that's right. Because throughout the 6 months at Hyper, you're in teams, aren't you? And so, how did you make that transition? How was that switching from being in this kind of immersive team situation to working at Future Everything? What did it look like, that partnership, in terms of the day-to-day?
Yeah, so the first 6 months at Hyper are in teamwork, so with the students, and you have different modules, and I think the first 6 months are to give you some kind of toolkit to push you into the industry after. So after these 6 months, I was feeling ready to go into the industry, to go with Future Everything. And then you have to find your partner and see how it works. We had weekly catch-ups where I would work on my own during the week and then catch the team up of Future Everything, what I've been doing, if I had any questions. I also had the chance to join them going to the events, the legacy and the handover events, where I could interview the people that were involved. So I was very lucky to just being able to jump in on such an ambitious and big project and contribute as a designer from Hyper. Yeah.
Oh, great stuff. And you were talking a little bit about the benefits to industry, Chris. Can you tell us a little bit more about like what you've seen from Victor and how that's helped the team and Future Everything on this project, perhaps? A little bit more detail?
Because I think it's really important to acknowledge that genuine benefits come from genuine risks, for want of a better phrase, in that when you're bringing anybody into an organisation, there's a measured risk involved, because you're hoping they will contribute something. But what that risk does, it allows someone like Victor to really expand on his ideas and bring content and bring ideas and bring innovation. And to do that, you have to empower them with a certain role, empower them with a certain sense of ownership of the project as well. So as Victor was talking about, we thought carefully of how we could work together. And I think it's important to blend giving as much information to the students as possible, but also giving them the space as well. And also making sure that you're there for them to sort of advise and respond and feedback to. But I think what Victor did as well, and again, this is about timing, we've been on the project for 18 months by this point, and it wasn't that we were fatigued. It was more a case of the longevity of the project was really testament to the substance of it. But what Victor did by bringing his response and bringing his ideas was give it fresh impetus and fresh ideas and a thought process, and really just contribute to the legacy and the handover of the project to the partners. And also, I think he was also there at a really significant time for us, because we were very much re-emerging back into the workplace, and also re-emerging into the physical space of meeting up with our partners. Several of the partners that we went to meet and do workshops with, Victor came with us, and it was the first time for us meeting them as it was for Victor as well. So he was part of that shared experience as well. So it really kind of felt as if he was integrated into that Future Everything family, really, with that. And what we're really excited about is to see what Victor produces and to see what lens he puts onto the project, and how this will and how it will bring value to the handover to the partners, how it will bring fresh perspective for them, and also very clearly suggesting legacy ideas, legacy design ideas, to be able to continue with the project in some form. So yeah, we've been delighted with that process so far. You have to do it carefully to ensure that the Victor feels part of it, but also has that space and that time to be able to think and work as well. And we will be including Victor's work with the partners and hopefully with the sort of wider Future Everything audience as well, as a kind of to testify to both Victor's perspective and ideas, but also to the relationship between Hyper Island and Victor and EMA and Future Everything.
Great stuff. How has the It's Unique project been for you?
It's been a whole journey. It started off going as so the first conversations was really like trying to scope what I'm going to do in this project, because this place of mine was a big project, 18 months. There's lots of aspects where as a student you can go into. So the big chunk in the beginning was talking with Future Everything and seeing, okay, what are the interesting aspects of this project? And coming from the 6 months at Hyper, where we had a lot of online collaboration, I started to find like similar aspects of the project also being disrupted by the pandemic, and me too having to stay in my room and having this online collaboration with the team, not being able to share a real space with the teammates. I started going towards or scoping the project down towards this interesting aspect of how can you collaborate online, especially if you're talking about placemaking and urban planning, which is very physical and in the outside. How can you talk about those things? How can you reimagine those things when you're sitting behind a screen, behind your computer screen? How can you create these online spaces where you can stimulate collaboration and creativity? So that was the first big chunk to see where I'm going to steer this project to. And then it was just interesting meeting all the stakeholders, like Chris said. For him, it was also sometimes the first time that they met each other. But it was amazing to come into the project with a pair of fresh eyes and seeing all those people that have been collaborating for so long through a very challenging time. So I was really grateful and really talking to the people.
Okay, thank you very much. And can you tell us now a little bit about the next step? So what happens for you beyond Friday when you submit this industry research project, Victor?
So the RP does take a lot of headspace. So I'm trying to focus on finishing this research project, handing it in. And then I would like to finish off my work in collaboration with Future Everything too, because I had to come up to write a paper. I put the practice side a bit on the side for now, but I would like to pick that back up to indeed present it to the stakeholders and contribute to this legacy. And then I will leave Manchester, go back to Belgium. No. I'll have the holidays with my friends and family, enjoy some time of rest. But then I'm planning to come back to the UK, look for jobs. Please don't ask me what kind of jobs. I'll see. I'll keep an open mind, a curious mind. But I'm open to just keep exploring, really. Like I've just done these past 12 months, going into new things, territories that you don't necessarily know much about, and just keeping an open mind and believing in your self-worth.
Great, that's lovely to hear. What do you think have been the most important lessons, would you say, from this experience that have helped you in this process and that might help beyond?
There's always one thing that always bubbles up, and it's this thing that we were taught during this first 6 months too, and that is trying to be comfortable with not knowing where you're going, being in this space of almost losing control and trusting the process, and like you don't have to know everything about every project to get hold of it. I think that's a really important lesson that I'm taking away from Hyper Island, because it just gives you the power to step in territories that you know nothing about, and having a very curious and open mind, like I said. I think that's like the biggest thing.
Thank you.
Together with trust the process, of course.
Thank you. That's a commonly used expression, isn't it, my friend? And Chris, may I ask you, what have you learned from Victor from this collaboration? What do you take away?
we very much align ourselves with the approach that Victor has about trusting the process. And through the entire pandemic, we've tried to make a virtue of the uncertainty, and respond in a way that brings out innovation. We were put into a situation by default that we'll have to respond to. And we've worked really hard to try and then make decisions that we've designed ourselves in response to that, in response to the pandemic. And I think that when Victor came to us with the proposal, as I said, it was coinciding with the legacy planning for the project, but it was also coinciding with Future Everything starting to re-emerge into the physical workspace, really, and strategically think about how we can be sensitive to all our team's needs in terms of home working and also coming back into the workplace as well. It also was a really timely reminder for us that at Future Everything, we are very much committed to talent development, particularly on a local level. As an organisation, we look through the prism of hyperlocal and international, try and combine those things. And what Victor has done is very much put himself on our radar for the future, and that's the way we think about working with new talent coming through, is that we've engaged with Victor on that. And when future projects come along, then Victor will be there in the foreground of our thought process for that. So it's been a really gratifying and rewarding experience. And of course, it's not finished yet, because we're still excited to see what Victor writes and what that feedback is, but also how that will also enhance the project, enhance that legacy for the partners as well. So yeah, he was a bit of a gift coming along, because he made us rethink how we'll do this legacy work. And I think it's a real strength, I think, of the NA, because the way you approached us was reflective of what you'd learned over the previous kind of 6 to 8 months before in terms of the approach attitude. He gave us a comprehensive overview of the course and what the module was and what he wanted to do with us. He was diligent in his work and his work ethic. We absolutely dumped a whole load of documentation on him, because we had 18 months worth of documentation to share, which he absorbed and devoured, and that really that really informed his overview of the project, and I think on a more sublime level informed who we are as an organisation and what our priorities are as well. So we were much more then sensitive to thinking about how we will work together. And I think that also, I think that we blended working in a virtual space and a physical space quite well, which is very much the realistic future for most organisations, how we blend that. And this place of mine is very much reflective of that. How do we do virtual digital work, which impacts on the physical real space in the future?
Yeah. Oh, it feels like such a perfect pairing, and it's so lovely to hear this has happened, and the success of this, and good luck, Victor, for what comes next. And thank you so much, Chris, for sharing that insight. It's a really, really common question when students are coming through and want to know, what does industry research project look like? How does it work? Does Hyper Island help me? So you've just answered a lot of those questions, and it's fantastic to hear your industry perspective of that as well, and how that's been, how that's gone. Wonderful. Thank you very much. I think we're going to jump to the chat, actually, see if we've got some questions coming in. And I'll keep an eye on that. Okay, we are going to go for, I'd like to invite you to share with us. We wrote a blog a few weeks ago about a reboot, and I'd love to invite you to consider what you might be rebooting for 2022. We have reaccredited the master's programme, so the modules are as relevant as they possibly can as a response to industry. So new modules that you've experienced this year, such as intelligent machines, humans or customers, understanding people, in business and innovation, and the agile making and prototyping as well. And it'd be great to hear from you both, just what you're considering to reboot or refresh for next year.
I can start off. For me, 2021 has been a great year being here in Manchester. So for me, it's just prolonging 2021, starting it over, going into the real industry now, going into real work and taking everything I've learned this year. the people that I've met, the things that I've learned, just trying to transfer everything into 2022.
Oh, thank you. Well, good luck for that. Thank you so much,
you.
Victor. How about you, Chris?
I agree with Victor in that 2021 has been a great year. It's also been a hugely challenging year, but I think those two things go hand in hand. For Future Everything, we've had a lot of changes over the last 12 months. They've not just been about the pandemic, but just in terms of infrastructure of the organisation, but also, as I referred to before, what our direction is and reimagining who we are and what we do. And I think that the reboot that we're looking now is how we maximise the currency we have as our reputation as a festival, and then take that forward to share with our audiences and also wider audiences of who Future Everything are now and what our ambitions are for the future. So it's I'd say it's less of a reboot and more of sort of an enhancement of the hard drive, really.
Okay.
So that I think we want to extend our portfolio, but also ask the right questions and ask questions of ourselves as well. So we're very excited. It's been a challenging 18 months, but we've not just survived, we've also thrived by being agile and being open, which includes working with Victor. And I would actively encourage any industry partner for the future to seriously consider working with an MA student for Hyper Island, simply because you don't know what the outcome can be, and there's such potential of what the students can bring. And how it can impact on your future planning, your business planning, and the way you see the world, and the way you see your audiences as well. So yeah, that's what we're looking forward to next year, and we really hope that at some point we can work together again in the future.
Oh, amazing! Thank you very much. Yeah, and I know there's industry partners who are out there, curious and wondering, is it something we should do? How will it benefit the organisation? So hear it from you, and that experience firsthand is really really valuable. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to hand back to Becca in the studio. Thank you both.
Hello there. Oh, I can feel the love in here. It's been a privilege. I've had kind of a proper first-hand experience here, and I hope you've all been able to feel that too, of what it is that Victor's gone through the past 18 weeks for his industry research project, and how it is Chris has supported that, advised that, guided that, been an important player really in that support network that Victor has around him, not just from Hyper Island in respect to having a supervisor and connection to a supervisor, but also having that industry research partner and access to these stakeholders. And I've been busily trying to kind of like keep a few notes here as well on what was said. And I think a key theme that really came up was being pandemic proof and how we can create pandemic proof projects. And I think one of the things that I would like to actually state with confidence is that a lot of Hyper Island students have an opportunity to feel equipped when entering into this crazy world that we now live in. And this has just, I suppose, fueled that confidence for me in understanding really the purpose and the role of Hyper Island and what it is that Victor is able to, and clients are able to get out of this this space where we can be equipped to deal with these projects and the pandemic that's likely to impact that moving forward. So I'm really grateful for that. And Chris, thank you so much for plugging Hyper there. There's quite a lot we can take forward from that and learn from as well and build on, which is really important. So looking at the comments, thank you so much for staying with us. Bernard, hello. He's an IT executive. I can't see where you're calling from, so do excuse me if I'm unable to explain that. But the question I think you're asking, although it is a statement, it appears in the comments. I'll read the statement and see if you can translate into a question, Catherine and co. It's very curious and interested to learn concretely from Hyper Island and Future Everything experiences, best practices, and how perhaps to scope the customer's true needs and requirements, and therefore truly match those with the digital technology available. So I'm guessing, and Bernard, I'm sorry, I'm reading between the lines here because obviously we're not in a Zoom room where I can ask you to elaborate on this, but there's I guess what you're also asking here is accessibility, inclusivity. What, or do you even see your participants as customers consuming a product that you're creating here. And I just wonder whether it'd be interesting to explore that a little bit more with you. I will pass back over to you.
So I took from that some examples of best practice. Yes, any examples of best practice I'm hearing that you bring in?
I think I'm not sure what I'll try to elaborate on what I got from the statement. I think when you're working with technology, there's a lot of applications, a lot of digital applications, and what was proven with Hyper and with Future Everything too, that's important to explore how you actually apply digital technology in societies and for your own as a best practice instead of negatively influencing you, which is definitely there too. Try to see how again you can benefit from it and try to be creative with how you use these digital technologies for yourself and for the community, like Future Everything does. Keeps on exploring how art and technology can work together to help communities. Yeah, that's what I got from it.
Yeah,
I think Bernard also is referring to how an organisation would work with an MA student as well. And the key thing I would say is authenticity. Is that it shouldn't be tokenized at all. I think you think carefully about bringing somebody on board, because we responded to Victor's approach, which in itself we applaud, because it's you showed the initiative to be able to do that, but also you came prepared. You'd done your homework, you'd looked at everything. But then it's about, if we're going to do this, we do it properly. And we ensure that the person coming in has a contribution to make and enhances what we're already doing. So we assess what the benefits are and what the value is as well. And then transparency is really key as well in that relationship. Talking about whatever their access needs are, whatever their inclusive needs are as well, but also to ensure that the investment you make in that person then gives value back to the organisation and value back to the project. And that can only be based on principles of authenticity and transparency. So that's what I would say, is that if you look at that as an overview, build a framework around that will really help you with the process of the student being in there. And I would really recommend it, but don't do it lightly. Think carefully and think how it can be a mutually beneficial relationship.
Yeah, so it's not just about getting them in, it's the whole piece of the support, the onboarding and
the onboarding, the induction, and ensuring that there's a very clear work plan and a schedule to go through, which we did. We organised that. We went through what the milestones were and what the particular points of interest and activity were as well. And that just proved really critical for us to be able to have a smooth process, but also to be able to measure the success of our progress as well through it.
Yeah, thank you for the question, Bernard. I've got another one. Yeah, I can't read, I'm sorry, it's too, I can't read it.
Okay.
Oh, how can Hyper Island help me enhance my personality? Okay, Victor.
That's a big question. I can say how it enhanced my personality, if enhancing a personality is even a thing, but I think Hyper helps you to discover yourself. So how you try to find your qualities, how you actually work in a team, what your role is in that team. It gives you a lot of creative confidence too. It tries to make people aware of everyone can bring something to the table. You come into Hyper, everyone comes from different industries, so you're at the table or in a Zoom room with a lot of different disciplines, which makes it as more important that everyone brings something else to create this diversity, which make the outcome even richer. That to say that it's just about discovering yourself, finding your qualities, see what works, see what doesn't, and yeah, just try and fail too. Failing is a big part of it too. Just step out of your comfort zone, fail, learn from it, and I think it's how you build your personality little by little.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that question. Okay. I didn't catch this at the first part, but you approached your partner directly. Yeah. So just a recap on that. The timing you mentioned, Chris, was really crucial in terms of where you were at as an organisation in that project. But how did you come to be aware of Future Everything in the first place? And then when you approached them, how did you do that? Was it by email? Did you contact them? Did you go knock on the door? Tell us about that.
So I got in contact with Future Everything during the first module because it was so close to each other, which is why I dug into the website, see how they were doing. I was so amazed by the Displays of Mind project, so I tried to do all my research. And then once the other modules went over, I kept my interest in Future Everything, really trying to see how I can fit my design practice into what they are doing. And then eventually, when I contacted them, I think my first contact was with Irene, the creative director. I think I had a tiny slide deck with my interests, what I took from the Hyper Highland modules, and what I would like to do for my IRP. And then it was just a conversation, seeing if it could fit with the projects that were happening. And then Displays of Mine became so. Displays of Mine was actually already finished, at least the legacy started, which means there was an opportunity for me to jump in for legacy planning. And this is how Irene put me through to Chris, and that is when the real research actually began. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if that answered the question.
I'm curious. How did you find out about Irene in particular? So, what was there an introduction? Did you find her on LinkedIn? Did you find her email address? Because that's something I think that students, it's the practicalities of it. It's like what's.
It was LinkedIn for me. It's just don't be scared to just send people on LinkedIn, even if they have a big title. Everyone is very kind, very open to students. So yeah, just send them on LinkedIn. See if you can have a chat through Zoom, even if it's just 30 minutes to get to know each other, see if it fits or not, and otherwise go to the next one.
Thank you very much, Victor. Okay, I think. Thank you very much. Okay, I'm going to hand back to Becca now.
Hello again. Hello. Brilliant questions there that you know contributing there in the comments. Thank you so much. Right now, and thank you for your answers as well, team. So we now have a few minutes left before we end this session at 1:45. So if you haven't been able to share a question or you are itching to have something answered, please do not feel like this is the only space in which you have the chance to do so. You will be able to reach out to us, and any of the members of the Hyper Highland team are more than willing and able to speak with you about the programs and respond to any questions you might have. So please do keep in touch. We're going to take a break next Wednesday for our LinkedIn Live session and prep ready for the following week. So expect to see the event link going out online across our social channels in advance of that. With only a couple of minutes left, we haven't really got the time to invite everybody to check out. We very kindly got the "What would you reboot for next year" from our guests here today. So I would like to leave you with a bit of a checkout as a provocation. Take a moment to really think about what you took from today's session. And as I said, if you need to contact us to talk through it, expand upon it, ask further questions, then by all means do. So that's my little call to action for you, for each of you that have been watching today. And for your personal checkout. I personally am very, very grateful for today. I think I've got a lot of questions that I still have for these guys that I want, and I'm very privileged. I'll have the opportunity to speak with them. So I will stay in contact with them and wish Victor and the whole crew, in fact, all the students out there right now, if you do ever get the chance to watch this, I'm going to do what I did last week. Lots of love to you in your wrap-up weeks for your industry research projects. And I look forward to welcoming the new crew in January through those doors with the wonderful Catherine and the rest of the Hyper Highland team. Thank you so much for joining us today. That's all from us from the studio in Manchester. Bye for now.